It has been about a month since you have seen this garden. This is my garden, the one that's right behind the house. I had weeded it really well before the last video, and then because our gardening year is so terrible this year, I stepped away from the garden about completely for 3-ish weeks, and the weeds took over. I had ragweed taller than the house, smartweed everywhere. It's bad. So I've kind of spent the last week getting back into the groove of cleaning up the weeds, harvesting the little bit of produce we're getting, enjoying my flowers, which are the winners this year in the garden because everything else is just kind of eh. So I will give you guys a quick look around this garden, but first I want to show you the new fun gardening thing that I'm working with. I had actually reached out to this company months ago because I was really interested in this product, and they finally got back to me. So I'm excited to test it out. I'll let you guys know what I think of it, and I do have an affiliate link and discount code if it's something you are interested in for yourself or a gift for someone. You can check that out. But yeah, we're gonna take a peek at that and then fun little garden tour. All right, this is my new, I guess you could call it, gardening tool. Do not ask me how to pronounce it. GrowOya, Oya, Alla, I don't know. Pronunciation is not my strong suit. But what this is a little clay pot that you put into whatever area you need to help water easier. And because clay is kind of porous, the roots of your plants around it will stretch to this and collect water, so it makes your watering easier. I've got a medium one. My thought with these is I would really like to try it in all of my raised beds that I have. You can do them in ground. My in ground, because it's clay, does pretty good. So for me, that's not really necessary. Raised beds I have a problem with, especially when we hit dry streaks. This is where my ranunculus and gladiolas were planted, and the ranunculus were done, but in the 3 weeks that I ignored the garden, it got really dry and all the gladiolas died. Whoops. I saved what I could in terms of their bulbs, but yeah, not the greatest. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in the middle. The kids are going to plant this garden bed later because they actually just got seeds sent to them. So that's their project. They are going to plant this garden bed and then the 2 shorter ones I have. But I'm going to put that kind of in the middle, and we'll see how stuff does in the 3 different sections with this in here. I am really excited to test this out. I will open up the box and show you guys what it looks like and how this is kind of supposed to work. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is the medium size little lid. I'm going to bury it till just a little bit of the lip is sticking out, and then I can water directly into this, and like I said, the plants will stretch out their little roots and it will help keep them nice and moist in here for, you know, when I forget to water the garden for a couple weeks. It shouldn't be as big of a disaster. So I am excited to use this. I'm going to go ahead and dig it down in here and get it filling, and then we can take a little walk around the garden. That's how deep I buried it. I could have went a little deeper, but I really need to add more soil into this garden bed. It composted quite a bit, so that'll be a later project. Now we just fill that up. Pretty cool, huh? Before we move on, I did want to say I am going to be saving the box because I am pulling that out over winter. Because of all the freezing and thawing and how cold it gets, I would be worried about it cracking that. I haven't read anything about that to see if they should be okay or not, but I'm just going to go on the safe side and pull it out over winter and store it with the rest of my gardening supplies, and then I will put it back in. All right, let's take a look around the garden. Flowers are looking beautiful. Still weeds in there that I need to pull. After the super wet summer we've had a couple really dry weeks, and the ground is like concrete and the plants are freaking out a little bit because I'm sure they didn't put down great roots with it being so wet all summer. So kind of what I've been doing is finding an area that I want to weed, turning the hose on, and absolutely flooding it because it's a lot easier to pull weeds out when the roots are saturated. Like this area, this is all weeds. There is not one thing that should be in here. This should be like walking space, and I should be able to open and close that gate. This is where we go with the skid steer if he's bringing me manure. So this all needs to go. I can't even open that gate right now. It's really bad. Also, because I let the weeds get so bad, we have had a very fat, happy rabbit living in here. Yes, Flash, a rabbit. I haven't seen him in a couple days because I've gotten a lot of the weeds down. So his hiding spaces have been minimized because Flash, obviously, he's a basset hound, loves chasing him. And if I see one in here and I'm in the house, I can tell, I can yell, Flash, there's a bunny in the garden. He'll zoom around to the gate and chase that sucker right out, which is helpful because bunnies run a lot faster than I do. Okra, again, I neglected everything. It grew. They're so big and hard. I don't want to eat those now, so I'm hoping some of the smaller ones I'll be able to eat because I have not had any of my okra yet this year, which is sad because I really do like it. The tomatoes are doing okay. My basil, see, I've neglected everything, not even pinching my basil. Like, look at this. Bad, bad, bad Michelle. Bad, neglectful gardener. The tomatoes got blight really, really bad because of, obviously, it was so wet. Despite that, I do seem to be getting an okay amount of tomatoes. Not as many as I had hoped for, but, you know, some is better than none. The bunny has chewed on a lot of them. These are the sun sugar cherries, still my favorite. So good. They're so sweet. I have to grow those every year. It's my favorite tomato. But yeah, the blight killed a lot of the branches. So, it is what it is. I'm kind of, like I said, over the garden this year, as crazy as that sounds. Broccoli, cauliflower, my posts for my rose bushes that I swear one year I will get in there. I'm over saying maybe I'll get them in because that's just not a high priority. Coming back around to here because this is so pretty, but you can tell where the sun comes through because everything is leaning so far this way to reach it. I tied that sunflower in so he didn't tip over. It's very beautiful. It looks a lot nicer in here without all the weeds, so that is handy. But you can see some, like this Cosmo, he's a little thirsty. He's a little sad looking. I'll try to bring the hose around over there later. My herb bed, I had a bunch of beautiful dill in there that I should have harvested. I just let it go to seed and drop seeds. I'll get volunteer dill next year that I'll do something with. This is where the garlic was. My lizanthus are blooming. If you want to do lizanthus, start them way early, like way earlier than you even think you need to. They take forever to germinate and they're very slow growers. Beautiful flowers. Take forever, like 9 months to get a bloom out of those. My roses, we had the tent caterpillars come through really bad, and as you can see, especially these two bushes, about completely annihilated them and ate almost all the leaves. I'm hoping, looks like they're trying to grow some new ones, that they will grow enough to feed themselves to survive the winter. Otherwise I might be down to rose bushes next year, which would stink. These ones, they didn't bother as much. I really don't know why. They just didn't. The little bit of green beans I had planted in here, we ate a handful, and then, yeah, I let them go. Peppers that are in here are doing okay. These are the only peppers I will get this year. It's cayenne pepper and a couple bell peppers. More little flowers. I completely neglected my hanging baskets and they dried out. I had lamb's ear and forget-me-nots in them. And they did, the forget-me-nots bloomed and then I crisped them. Bad gardener. I do have some beautiful asters blooming. Up at the front by like the road where I have my little flower beds, there's a beautiful white aster and pink aster up there. Mostly in here. It looks like there's a white one down there. They seem to be purple. I don't know how I managed that. The corn has been pulled up. I kind of have some more of my Egyptian onion starts popping up, but the chickens were sneaking in here, as you can see the little dig, and kind of were mean to them. So we'll see. I'm trying to really expand how many Egyptian onions I have, and then hopefully, maybe next year I'll be able to sell a few. I love them. They're the walking onions, so they're pretty cool. These beds I finally cleared out. The garlic that Aspen had planted along here, she never harvested. They were teeny tiny, so I'm actually just leaving them. We'll see what happens with them next year. Not even worth digging up at this point. Tomatillos are doing okay. Cucumbers are doing okay. Nasturtium, I had another really pretty one on this side and I accidentally pulled him out when I was weeding. My bad. Here we have some onions, some shallots, the one lone carrot that was pulled out of this bed. So these, and then the bed in the corner are what the children are going to be planting in later today. That's their chore for today. They have seeds to plant. Back over here, again, hot mess. What am I thinking here? Brussels sprouts. My brain shut off for a second. Brussels sprouts, doing okay. Give me your tips on Brussels sprouts. I don't know if I need to be feeding them more or what, but I plant them late winter, early spring, and I never get a harvest until the next winter, basically. So, not sure what I'm doing wrong with that. Cabbages. Some of these still need to grow a bit. Some of them are basically becoming worm food. I don't have any spot in my fridge to put them right now. I've made sauerkraut before, so I thought about making sauerkraut again, but we do not eat that much of it. So normally we eat a lot of cabbage. Like, I love making coleslaw, and I love like frying up the cabbage with some garlic and butter and salt and pepper. Just haven't been feeling it. So it's kind of becoming bunny and chicken food, which I guess worse things could happen. This area is still open. Dan still needs to come through here to run the electrical lines to the new house. This is where the asparagus was, and I pulled it up and put it down in the secret garden and then tilled it. Some spots of asparagus have sprouted up again, so obviously I didn't get out of the roots the first time, so I'm trying to kind of dig those out. My dirty feet, sorry people, I've been in the mud and clay all day. I'm going to try and dig out those few that popped back up, also take those to the secret garden, and then re-clean out this area. So yeah, that's my garden this year. It's not high flash, it's not great, it's not pretty, it's not super productive, but I still love it. My goal for the rest of this year is to just harvest what I can and what I want, and then I would like to do a really good cleanup at the end of the year with weeds and everything, so that I have a nice fresh start next spring when I get going in here again. And hopefully next year is a better gardening year for us. I'll probably do a couple more garden tours and whatnot yet this year, but it's not really that exciting in here, so I don't know what to show you.